Hello, Maria. Oh, your German chamomile seeds have germinated, huh? Very nice. Hello, Sandy. How are you doing? And hello to everybody else. How are you all doing today? You know, I have to start off with, look at this sky. In fact, you know what? I'll turn it around so you can see from my view. Look at how gorgeous that is. Can you believe that? I'm very fortunate that it did not decide to rain on me while live streaming. It just cleared up in the nick of time. In fact, it was really pouring out here not that long ago. Well, welcome everybody. Now today, I've got a couple of interesting things to show you. In fact, I have a really cool thing to show you. I'm going to back myself up here so I can give you the grand reveal. Now I mentioned, oh, black clouds there in Covina. Hey, Sandy. Oh boy. Yeah, that just passed through here, so not too bad now. Alrighty. Now for the big reveal of the herb spiral I just finished building on Saturday. Dun 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 dun. Hello, Diane. How you doing? Now this is the brand new herb spiral. Built this up on Saturday. I had no intention of building this on Saturday. It just kind of happened. Actually, funny story. I came out here. I had 4 bricks. No, I'm sorry. I had 5 bricks. I'd have 5 bricks in the 4 cardinal directions and 1 in the center. And I said, you know what? I'm going to outline this to see what it's going to look like. So I made the outline. And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna do 1 more layer of bricks just for the heck of it. And about 8 hours later, I had the entire herb spiral completed. Now, mind you, a lot of other stuff happened in between that, but I went to the nursery, grabbed all of these fine plants here, and got this all finished on Saturday. And I think it's looking pretty good. This is actually the first herb spiral that I have built, and I'm pretty proud of it. Now today, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the herb spiral. I will explain the design, why I set it up the way that I did, and why I planted the herbs in the different levels that I did. We're also going to take a look at the 3 fruit trees that we planted a little over a week ago now. These actually need a little bit of pruning now. In fact, I'm ready to finally prune the plum. I've been kind of holding off on that. And the persimmon starting to have some growth that's growing in towards the center of our little triangle here. And as I mentioned before, since we planted these so close together, we can't have anything growing in towards the center, so that has to come off. So we'll do that planting or that trimming today. I also wanted to show you the flowers that we planted along the north fence here. Now I had originally planned on putting in let's see, we were going to do some cucumbers and beans. I was thinking about planting the grape here, but I realized that this was really not the right spot for the grape. This spot does not get enough sunlight during the time of year when grapes really need to have full sun. But this is actually the perfect spot for a blackberry, because this gets full sun during the time of year when a blackberry really needs full sun the most. Now the grape is going to go right over there, as you can see, between those 2 posts. In fact, it's already sitting there. Planning on planting that up tonight. Now, the blackberry isn't in yet, but I've already gone ahead and ordered it, and I'm hoping it'll be here next week. We'll be planting it right here in the middle of all of these annuals. Of course, in time, this blackberry is going to get quite large, and not all of these plants will play well with the blackberry, but since we're just getting it started this year, we decided to plant up some flowers and have a nice little show. Now I want to show you this side as well, because we've been working on the little patio area, as I may have mentioned previously. You all know we have our compost bin we were working on, and now the little patio area that we just finished up, complete with blueberries. And, oh boy, now I always say that when you plant something new like this, it's important to make sure that you pull off any flowers or fruit. But when I purchased these blueberries were almost completely ripe, and I said, you know what, I'm going to let these finish ripening up and we'll go ahead and eat these. There's really no point in wasting these nice blueberries on here. Of course, remember that generally when you plant something new like this, the reason why you pull the flowers, the fruit off is to make sure that the roots, or rather to make sure that the plant focuses on its root system. But yeah, we'll leave these on here. It's not the end of the world. Remember what I say in class, do as I say, not as I do. We also have a nice little passion fruit that we've planted up. We're going to grow up onto this trellis here, and then across over to the chain link fence. Passion fruit vines can get really big, and so we need to make sure that they've got plenty of room. We actually had a passion fruit vine back here when I was a teenager, so we know that passion fruit do really well back here. I actually don't remember why we took it out, except that maybe it might have gotten a little bit too crazy on this fence. Oh well, guess I didn't learn my lesson. All right, now let's head right on back over here. Actually, before we get started on those trees, I do want to show you our little friend. Still have a little baby here with us. Right back here, you can see him. We only have one baby here now. But this is the baby mourning dove. Has decided to continue hanging out here. It does fly, but for whatever reason, it has decided to stick around here. My little buddy for when I'm gardening. Now, finally got this planted up. We got a jalapeno planted, and this is one of those little lunchbox style, kind of like a bell pepper. So this is a nice sweet pepper, and we've got our spicy pepper. And we put an Oya in, although as you can see, after filling this up with soil and wetting it down, the soil has compacted more than I was expecting. I might have to come in and add a little bit more soil to this. Now, I don't know how much I'm actually going to be using this Oya here. To be honest, the peppers don't need a whole lot of water on them, but I like to have this here as a just in case, if we have to go away or something, can give them a little bit of extra water. It's a nice just in case. All right, now let's go ahead and head over here to our trees. But first, I need a tool. That one. So, how's everybody doing today? Did everybody enjoy the rain, or are you currently enjoying the rain? Got hit pretty hard over here. Let's see, okay. Got that set up. And there we go. All right. Now, as I mentioned, since we've got these 3 trees, gotta watch out for that. In fact, I'm gonna cut that before I trip on it. As they say, don't trip. Now, because I have these 3 trees planted so close together, again, we cannot allow any of the branches to grow in towards the center. So, with our hero persimmon here, I'm gonna have to trim these 2 back, at the very least. As a matter of fact, I don't know that I want this low branch down here. I guess I could leave this on here just to leave some more leaves on the tree to give it a little bit more energy. You know what? I'm going to leave that on there just to see what it does. But I do want to prune back plum a little bit here. Now, let me turn this ever so slightly so you can get a better angle on that. Now, I really only want to have a few main branches on this plum, and there's a lot going on here. I left this alone for the last week because I wanted to get a feel for it. I'm still not 100% sure if I know what I want to trim off, but this branch down here comes out and then immediately starts moving back towards the Fuyu persimmon, so I think I want to take this off. Wait, that was the wrong one. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. And then looking down here, I see that we have two branches that are really in competition with each other. We have this branch up here up top, and this one just a few inches down below that are occupying the same space here. And I know that eventually these are going to cause problems for each other. So I guess I really should keep this one up here, which means I'm going to take this one off down here. That way we can get more space between the branches. So these two look fine. You know, we've got 5 main branches now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think I'm going to leave that alone. I was thinking about cutting this off here because I don't know that I like that angle that much, but I don't want to cut off too much, so I'll leave this. I'll leave this alone here. Now I do have a couple little nubs that I'm going to trim back. There we go. And one right over here. Now, of course, it's important to remember anytime that you are pruning any kind of a tree that you don't want to cut flush with the trunk. You want to make sure that you leave a little bit of a stub because you want to cut outside of the branch bark collar down here and the branch bark ridge. We've talked about that in class before. Now, I think that that's good. That's pretty much all I wanted to do to these today. I'll keep watching them over the next couple of weeks and see what they do and decide where to go next. Now, our little peach here, oops, there we go. Our little peach here is starting to get its buds swollen. Hasn't quite grown out yet since we made that really big cut up here, but it is still alive, even if it looks like it's just a dead little stick. Guess you can't see that unless I go like that, huh? There we go. Okay, now you can see it. Oh yeah, Diane, I really enjoyed the rain too. That was very nice. All right, well, we are good to go on these 3 little trees, so I think we're going to move on along here. What should I do next? Maybe plant that grape over there. Let's come on over here. Now, before I plant the grape, I guess I should point out, and I haven't shown you this yet, so I have hay. Remember, hay is 4 horses. Actually, I got this hay to stuff into this block wall. Now, over at the Lyle Center, they experimented a little bit with stuffing hay into walls to use as insulation. Now, one of the problems with these kinds of block walls, especially when you're using them for raised bed, is that they store a lot of heat. This is also why I laid out this material on here to help block direct contact with the sun. The idea is that by having this jute on here, the sun hits the jute and helps to disperse some of that heat. Because the jute is relatively loose on here, you have a little bit of an air gap in there, and that little tiny bit of an air gap isn't going to make a huge difference, but it can make a difference in how much heat this block wall absorbs and stores, and also how much heat transfers through this block wall and into the soil. So we're also going to experiment with taking some of the straw here to the blocks to act as a, what's the word that I just used? Anyone know? Insulation. That's right. All right, now we're going to go ahead and work on this little grape here. I guess before I do this, I will give you a view. Ow, ow, ow. All the ows. That's me crashing into everything because I'm paying more attention to the camera. Now, I will give you a view, actually, from this angle over here. There we go. About right there. That'll work. Now, we are going to make a little arbor using these posts, since we already have them here. We're going to get some fence top wire, run one up here straight across to this side, and we're going to have a second one probably right about here, maybe at around 3-4 feet, somewhere in there. We actually already have these guys here that we can loosen up and raise up a little bit. So we're already set on building our little arbor, but we have to plant our grape. Let's see here. Now, I've already placed this, and it's pretty much ready to go. Say again that generally I tell folks when you're planting something like this to cut off any flowers or fruit so that it can focus on its root production. And we have all these little grapes on here. In fact, this whole plant is completely covered in grapes. And really, if I'm going to do this right, I need to cut these grapes off. But because I'm planting this for my dad, I'm going to let him decide whether I cut these off or whether I leave them on the plant. So for now, I'm going to leave them on as a plant, and I'll ask him what he wants to do. Seems like the right thing to do. Now I've got a shovel over here. I'm going to grab a hold of that. And we're going to get started on this planting. Alrighty. Now the soil in here is all good. It's actually a very sandy soil. It's pretty decent stuff. Now as I dig down, it's going to get a little bit rocky. Ooh. Lots of rocks down there, actually. See how many rocks I encounter as I dig. I have some roots in here from the old avocado tree, but they've already died back and they come out really easily. Now I'm only going to remove No, I'm going to remove the roots from the immediate vicinity around the hole that I'm digging for this grape, but I'm not going to sit here and pull and dig all of the roots out. I'm not concerned about them. Matter of fact, I'm just going to let them decay in the ground where they are. They don't bother me. They're not going to bother the grape. Now, this is the funnest part of the live stream. The part where I toil with a shovel. All right. Now, I have gotten through all of the soil that was wet by the rain, and it is pretty dry down here. So I'm actually going to have to make sure that I fill this hole up with water before I plant this grape. As a matter of fact, just depending on how long that takes, I might have to wait to plant this grape tomorrow or another day. We'll just have to see. Hopefully this drains quickly. Now this hole is actually probably close to right. I should check it before I dig too deep. Let's take a peek. It still has a little bit left to go, but not too much. So I'm going to scoop a little bit of this out by hand. Let's see here. Yeah, there's lots of rocks down here. Now, I've mentioned in previous live streams and in some of my other videos that this was actually previously an area that creeks used to run through. So the soil in here is extremely sandy, and there's lots of rocks. There are a couple of roots here that I'm just going to cut out. And we're going to take a couple more handfuls of the soil, some of these rocks. I think that should be about it. Now, that's depth there, but I do want to open this hole up just a little bit. I'm going to be using some amendment in here, some starter fertilizer actually. And I do want to get it a little bit further out into the surrounding soil, just a bit. Generally speaking, you want to open up the hole so that it's about twice as wide as the root ball or so. It doesn't have to be exact. You can hear the mourning dove parents hanging out up above. It's just about the time they're probably going to come down and feed the baby. Interestingly, the baby actually left the nest, probably about, must have been a week ago by now, at least. And it's still been hanging out around here, and the parents are still coming by and feeding it. There were two, not sure where the second one went off to though. Might be in another yard. I notice usually it's just one parent hanging out with this one, so I think the other parent might be off with the other baby. I'm going to pull out a couple more of these rocks here. Actually, it's not so bad. A couple of big rocks, but not as many as I was expecting. Now, let me come over here and check the chat really quick just to see if we have any questions. No questions? My goodness. I must be so good at explaining things that you just already understand everything I'm doing, right? No, all jokes aside, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. And don't forget to like the live stream. Very important. It's how I get paid. No, I'm just kidding. I don't get paid to do this. I just do it for fun. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill this hole up with water. Guess I'll pull the camera over so you can see what I'm doing. But don't worry, we're not going to wait for this to drain all the way. I'm just going to get this started, and then we'll start working on something else while the hole drains out. Now, sometimes I only fill a hole up about halfway, but this time around, I'm going to go ahead and fill this all the way up to make sure that the hole drains well. I also want to make sure that all the soil around the root ball is well saturated. Let me grab the hose here, and we'll get this filled up. This is the part where I knock over a shovel or something, make a loud bang. Or not. Oop, nope. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Now again, I'm just going to fill this up. Usually I only do it about halfway, but I'm probably going to fill this up almost to full here. Which I guess I could pause here and see how fast this drains right now. This is sandy soil, so honestly it usually drains very, very quickly. Oh yeah, I can see it draining already, but we'll fill this up. A little bit for you too. This is a really good idea when you're planting California native plants especially, Now, of course, this grape is not a California native plant, but native plants really need to have a hole that is well wetted before you plant them. Of course, you want to make sure that the plant you're planting is also watered in. If the hole is dry or if the root ball is dry or vice versa, that can cause some serious issues with the survival of the plant. I'll put this hose back over here, and look at that. I didn't knock the shovel over or anything. All right. There we go. And now we're going to sit here for the next hour staring at water draining out of a hole. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Let's not do that. We will give this some time to drain. For those of you who are just joining us, I just dug this to China. And no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Ha ha ha. But look at that lovely hole. Oh, we do have some comments in chat. Let's see here. Sandy says, I read that the parents take turns looking after the eggs and the babies. Yes, the parents do take turns watching over the eggs and the babies. Usually you only have one at a time, except for the changing of the guard. And for a couple of days, actually, the parents pretty much stuck around next to the little babies over here. As a matter of fact, while I'm talking about them, why don't we go back to the baby for a second? Just for a second, though, because I don't want to scare the parents off. Keep my distance. We'll step back over here and just zoom in. There's our little baby. Oh, in fact, there's one of the parents going by, so you know what? I'm going to step back because I do not want to scare the parents away while they're trying to feed their baby. So, but you are correct about that, Sandy. Norma, hello, it's good to see you. Cody, so what is the hole of water for? Laugh out loud. It is, again, so I'm going to China and trying to dig a hole all the way there. I thought maybe the weight of the water would just punch a hole straight through. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, this hole is where we're going to plant this grape. I filled it up with water just to let it drain and make sure the soil is completely saturated. Good idea to do this before you plant plants, both with the plant and the hole you're planting in. Now, while we're waiting for that to drain out, why don't we come back over here to the herb spiral, and we'll talk a little bit about this. Now, I'm curious, before I explain the herb spiral, does anybody here know what an herb spiral is and why they are designed as such? Anyone in the chat know? What is an herb spiral? And why is it designed like this? Norma doesn't know. That's okay, Norma. Neither do I. I was just hoping somebody out there would know. Just kidding. Now, actually, herb spirals, as far as I know, thank you, Sandy. As far as I know, herb spirals actually come out of permaculture practice. And the whole purpose of building an herb spiral like this is to create little microclimate zones so that you can grow different herbs in a small amount of space. So you're growing vertically, but you're also creating these microclimate zones. Now, the plant that's in the very, very top up here, this is going to be the driest area because the water is going to drain through all of these layers of soil. This is also the area where you can have the deepest roots. As we move around now, that direction is north, that's east, west, and of course, south, going back around the other way. So, the north side is actually going to be the coolest, wettest area. So during most of the year, you're going to get shadows here on the north side. And while we're going to get morning sun, we're going to get evening shade on this side of the planter. So we have our plants that can handle drier, hotter conditions on the west and to the north. And as we move down and around, we have the more delicate plants and the plants that want to be watered more. So starting up here at the top, we have a lovely little sage. Now, I actually forget what this exact variety is. It looks a little bit like tricolor sage, but this is a variety of cooking sage. It was one that I'd actually not seen before, and I wanted to give it a try. Excuse me while I fix the camera. There we go. Okay. Now, next to that, we have nasturtium, and I know that we've talked about this a lot in class. This is actually a special nasturtium. This is a red variety. Nasturtiums are really quite easy to grow. Uh-oh, that got a little toasty. I think I might pick those off. Nasturtiums will grow, well, almost anywhere, to be totally honest. This is great for a ground cover. I actually planted this one here in hopes that it will grow out and cascade down the side of our little spiral here. As you see, I also have an alyssum that was planted sideways. Actually, the roots are kind of at an angle down here and covered with this wood mulch to make sure it doesn't dry out too quick. My hope here is for this alyssum to come out and again cascade down the front of the spiral a little bit. This side of the spiral, to be honest, is a little bit boring. I think that the other side is a lot more interesting. So I wanted to add some interest by having something that would cascade on this side. Now, we also have thyme. Oh, look at the time. I gotta go. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, everybody just left. What's going on? Okay. That's enough dumb jokes for one day. This is actually lime thyme. And let me tell you, this thyme smells amazing. I haven't tried this one yet. I haven't cooked with it yet. But boy howdy, it has such a great scent to it. Now I've created a little bit of a gap here. And again, I'm hoping to encourage this to grow out this way and hopefully get a little bit of the thyme cascading down the side so that we can add a little bit more interest to the side of the spiral. Now next, we have Mexican tarragon. I already have some French tarragon over there, so I wanted to have some Mexican tarragon as well. Next to that, of course, we have Greek oregano. Got a couple different kinds of oregano, but Greek is probably one of my favorites. Now, this one is interesting. I told myself I wasn't going to get any more basil because we have a lot of basil right now. But this basil I have not seen before. This is known as lemon basil. And, oh my goodness, it smells so good. And you know what? I have not tasted this. I'm going to... Ooh. You know, it's almost more lemony than it is basil-y. I gotta say, that has such a strong citrus lemon flavor to it. It's really, really interesting. The basil is still there, but that's probably one of the most unique basils I've ever tasted. See, the tag here says, oh, not edible. Oh, just kidding. Ha 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 ha. At least I hope it's edible. Now here we have some garlic chives. I was planning on getting some regular chives, but unfortunately the nursery was sold out. Of course, more cilantro because you can never have enough cilantro. Here we have some chamomile. Quite a small little one, but this will grow up into a nice little plant and we'll get our little daisy-like flowers that we can use to make chamomile tea. Of course, we got some lovely little violas down here. Not quite a Johnny jump up, but it looks very similar to one. And then this is something actually I have not grown before. This is chervil. And, you know, I love the smell of this. I've actually never grown chervil before, but it fits well on the north side of an herb spiral. And I was at the nursery and I gave it a smell and I said, you know what? It almost reminds me a little bit of tarragon, actually. It's got kind of a similar licoricey scent to it. I have no idea how to use this plant, but I'm really excited to try it. And of course, we have more alyssum. We have some lobelia and alyssum along the outside of the tower. And of course, more nasturtiums, because by golly, you can never have enough nasturtiums. And that's it. That's what we've got in our lovely little herb spiral here. Now, this is not mortared together. This has all just been stacked together. You will notice that the bricks are leaning inward as I stacked them up. That's to make sure that it doesn't fall out. Of course, this might still fall over. We never know when we're going to get an earthquake. Yay. Oh, wait, no, that's not a yay. All joking aside, this should stand just fine, but we shall see. Now, really quick, before we go over here, I actually want to show you a couple of the herbs I've got over there, but take a look at the basil growing in this bed here. This has at least doubled in size, taking into account how wide it's grown. It's almost tripled in size. Now, unfortunately, the purple Cherokee tomato is not doing well. It actually looks like the apical bud up here got pinched or died back. We had a little bit of burning here, and so we lost some leaves. And this plant has become stunted. It has really not grown except for just a couple of leaves here since I planted it. This is not doing so well. And if it does not grow in the next two weeks or so, I hate to say it, but I'll probably take this out and plant another. Now, I do have some hope for it because we have our black star here. This is our black star tomato. And this also looked stunted, but it finally started to grow out, and it's actually looking better now. It hasn't grown a lot since we planted it, but it is starting to grow out. Now, our Juliet, on the other hand, look at this. This has tripled in size since we planted it. This was actually one of the smaller plants that we put in here. And this is just really taken off here. Same thing with the sun gold tomato. And the sun golds are always very prolific. That's doing really exceptional. And actually all of the flowers are looking lovely. I mean, this is just so lush and green. And again, it's at least doubled in size. It's much fuller than it was when we started. Same thing with the cilantro. The cilantro has really grown in. The basil, here we have just our standard basil. This is looking great as well. And of course we have our parsley over here, and that's looking good. Of course, I don't know why I grow parsley. Parsley's good, but I don't know. It's a little bit boring, but I do use it. Nah, parsley's good too. I apologize. I'm sorry, parsley. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Now we have one more basil down here. This is the North African basil. Again, this is a basil that I've actually never grown this variety, but it smelled very similar to Thai basil, and so I wanted to give it a try. I'm really enjoying it. Now, I was told that this is similar to Thai basil in that you do not need to deadhead it. You don't have to worry so much. They say that it's fine even while in bloom, so I'm letting it bloom. I'm not worried about it. But if this basil over here, if our Italian basil starts to bloom, I am going to pinch those buds back. And as a matter of fact, it almost looks like we're going to start getting some flower buds in here. So I got to keep an eye on that. Also got to keep an eye on this, because actually, if we take this leaf off and take a little bit closer, let's look at that. Notice that we have something going on there. It almost looks like it could potentially be the beginning of some kind of a fungal issue. It's very possible because I've been wetting this down a little bit extra because of the mushroom spawn in here, and also because of the carrots, which have started to sprout finally. We've got carrot seeds all around the tomatoes and in lines in between our marigolds. Those are all popping up. It could be that this is just a little bit too wet for the basil. And then, of course, we got a little bit of rain. So I'm going to have to make sure that I let this dry out for at least a day or two before I add any more water to it. Now, I don't want to waste this, so maybe I'll just come in here and feed it to the worms. How about that? There we go. I'll just pop it in on the side over here. Oh, look at that. We got some little critters in there. What in the world? Now, it's common to get little fungus gnats and flies in this. Oh, look at that. So that's not too strange. Now, I've had to be very careful about how much food I put in here because we only have about 100 worms per bin. They're not eating very quickly, so I want to make sure that stuff doesn't rot too much in here. I want the worms to eat it. I don't want it to rot. So while their population is building up, I really got to keep an eye on that, make sure that I don't overfeed them. All right, now let's take a look back at... Oh, actually, no. I still need to talk about the north side over here. Not clear today, huh, Sandy? Yeah, I'm using the same camera. Maybe there's something on the lens. Give me a second. Hold on. Oop. Ta-da! Is that better? It could be that I might have a poor connection here too. Diane, I'm not too far away. Actually, I'm pretty close. So I'm able to come over here pretty much anytime. Now, I did want to show off. We got some dill in here. Now, this is not a big dill. Not a big deal at all. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, that was a dumb joke. I apologize. Now, this is our curly leaf dill, and it is very, very young, but this will actually get to be pretty big. This dill should reach anywhere from about 2 to 3 feet tall. Of course, we have a host of different flowers in here, but we also have our stevia, the sugar plant. These leaves, of course, can be dried out and used as a sugar substitute. We have some lemongrass. Now, this lemongrass is going to get big, and eventually these flowers around it are not going to be able to live in the same space. These are annual flowers, though, so as this gets bigger and starts to fill out the space, we just won't replant annual flowers close to the lemongrass. Although I don't plan on letting this get gigantic. I'm planning on cutting it back and, of course, using it in cooking. So we won't let this get too big. Oh, Sandy, I apologize. The picture quality isn't good. Maybe I'll have to, I don't know, rub it again. No. Now, we have mostly flowers through here, a couple nasturtiums, some cosmos, dianthus. Oh my goodness. All kinds of flowers in here. And of course, I mentioned we have the French tarragon. And by the way, this is one of my absolute favorite things to eat. Uh-oh. So Miriam says, you have a poor connection. The connection is causing the connection. How about that? Ooh, oh boy, that sunset snuck up on me. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull, oh boy. Am I back? Do you see me? You see me now? I apologize. I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. Yeah, all of a sudden, all the the number of people watching kept dropping and dropping and dropping, and I'm going, So it looks like I was having some kind of a connection issue. I apologize. I'm going to try to avoid that corner over there because it looks like that's the dark corner where the connection does not go. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and actually we're running a little bit low on time here. Matter of fact, it's almost been an hour already, so I'm going to set up my camera, as I do at the end of my stream, over here at the log. Now, hopefully we've got a good connection here. Let me just get this all scooted into place here. There we go. Let's turn this. There we are. All right. Now, hopefully I'm still here. Uh-oh, not great, huh? Let's see. Do you see me now? Go ahead and... Yeah, I hope that it's not a permanent thing, let me tell you. It's not fun to have connection issues. Okay, very good. Now, I'm just going to spend the last little bit of time that we have here working on this. I see that we're running out of time here. We've got about 10-15 minutes left. I'm going to come back to that grape. I checked the hole and it's just about done draining, but I'm going to come back to that tomorrow, I think. Want to spend a little bit of time working on this because I have not had the opportunity to work on this since last Monday. Yeah, Maria, I think so. Now, normally I just run off of the internet here, but actually I was accidentally connected to the Wi-Fi, and I think that might be part of the problem. I think that if I started without the Wi-Fi, that this might have worked better. Now again, I haven't had a chance to work on this since last Monday. I've been so busy with everything. This is what happens. I did want to ask, how's everybody doing out there? And how are your gardens doing? Anybody have any big garden news? Any successes? Any failures? What's going on out there? Now the dove is over here now. The parent is with the baby. I'd show you, but I don't want to get up and scare them. Now I am still connected, right? What's everybody up to out there? Anyone eating dinner? Oh, very nice, Vicky. Very nice. I figured at least someone was out there having some dinner right now. It's time. That's what I'm going to be doing just as soon as I am done here, let me tell you. And I am ready for some dinner. So Miriam says, how long after planting should my strawberry plants bear fruit? Now, it depends a little bit, Miriam, on the size of the plants when you planted them. You know, if it was a 4-inch or a gallon. It depends on, you know, how big the plants themselves are. Typically, you know, you have to have enough time for the roots to establish before you start to get flowers and fruit. Of course, sometimes you have plants that already have flowers and fruit on them. But, you know, I've seen fruit come up on the plant after just a couple of weeks, you know, or rather flowers after a couple of weeks. But it can take a little bit of time. How long ago did you get your strawberries? Or how long ago did you plant them in the pot or in the ground? Okay. So one thing that you can do, if you're concerned about your strawberry plants, and if they don't seem to be flowering quite yet, is you could give them a little bit, 2 months ago. Definitely time to think about maybe a little bit of a organic fertilizer. When you planted your strawberries, did you use any kind of starter fertilizer or any kind of anything like that? Yeah, you should expect to start seeing flowers soon if you haven't seen any new ones yet. Okay. You know, you could try... Nope, I've got a helicopter going overhead. If you can still hear me, you can try using a fertilizer that's got a bit more phosphorus in it. In fact, you could try using something like bone meal to see if that gives them a little bit of a kickstart. I would say after 2 months, I would expect those plants to start putting out flowers and bearing fruit for you. Actually, I think I'm going to start going a little bit deeper on this side of the planter. I think that I want to cut a little bit more of this off on this side to open it up a little bit more, make it a little bit wider in here. Then I'm just going to go a little bit deeper. I'm actually not going to go too much deeper than this, I don't think. This is going to be not a huge hole. Still not sure what I'm going to plant in this planter. Let's see, fish fertilizer or fish emulsion. You know, you could use a bit of fish emulsion. I'm trying to remember how much phosphorus is in fish emulsion. So whatever you use, you want to make sure that the middle number and the last number of those 3 numbers, those last 2 numbers need to be a little bit higher than the first number. I don't remember if fish emulsion is high in nitrogen or not. You don't want to use anything with a high first number on those strawberries right now, because if they've gone for 2 months without producing any flowers or fruit, you could have too much nitrogen in the soil, so you don't want to add more to it. So I'd be a little bit cautious with the fish emulsions. I don't remember how much how much nitrogen is in fish emulsion, but just don't go too high on the nitrogen when you don't see fruit. Same thing for your tomatoes, by the way, for those of you growing tomatoes. If you see that your tomatoes are nice and big and green and growing, but they're not producing fruit, this is when you want to cut back, make sure you're not putting any nitrogen on them, and start upping the phosphorus. Let's see, Maria says, in case of emergency, have contacts for your eyes if your glasses break. Ben, my son uses glasses for everything. Yeah, I actually have 3 pairs of glasses now. I used to really only have 1 main pair of glasses, but I, actually recently started getting my glasses from Costco. I used to get them from Lens Crafters. Nothing against Lens Crafters, but by golly, they are so expensive. Now that I'm going to Costco, it's much, much cheaper. Plus, I'm finally getting the services through my insurance at Mount Sac. So actually, they give me a little bit of money towards glasses every 2 years now, which is also helpful. I do like that Kaiser insurance, I will tell you. It's not half bad. Let's see here. I need to come out here a little bit further. Start chipping away at this edge. Oh yeah, you have Kaiser too, Sandy? You know, I've heard people complain about Kaiser, but you know, so far since I've gotten them, my experience has been pretty good. I mean, I haven't had to have any emergency care, of course, at least not through Kaiser. But goodness, I need to knock on wood. There we go. No, but so far so good with Kaiser. I guess the wait times can be kind of bad when you're trying to schedule appointments, but I mean, it was bad with my old insurance too, to be honest. Yep. Knocked that in too far. See, Sandy says, I broke my ankle in Canada and Kaiser reimbursed me. Oh, that's awesome. Miriam asks, could too much nitrogen cause my broccoli and lettuce to flower? No, so it's actually the opposite, Miriam. Nitrogen is what causes green leafy growth. And if you have too much nitrogen in the soil, it'll actually oftentimes prevent things from flowering or fruiting. Phosphorus is what encourages flowering and fruiting. So high phosphorus fertilizers could potentially make your broccoli bolt quickly. With all of these things, it's about having the right balance. All right. Now, let's see here. This is looking pretty good. At least from my angle, it looks good. I don't know what it looks like from your angle over there. There we go. Oh, you know, reminds me, I should be protecting my hands. I'm always forgetting to wear gloves, and I really should be wearing gloves when I do that, because if I smack my hand, boom, boom, I guess the glove's not going to help that much. But still, good idea to wear gloves when doing something like this, just for that little bit of extra protection. I'm always forgetting to put my gloves on. Hey, howdy. Got a lot of wood in here, aren't I? Let's see about scooping some of this out into a bin here. Oop. This bin's getting all messed up. Let's see. Now, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be planting up that grape that we saw today. We'll hopefully get that planted up tomorrow. I'm going to get that blackberry in, get that planted up. Also working on getting some akebia, or chocolate vines. Chocolate vines, hopefully those will come in the next couple of weeks and we can get those planted up. Also still trying to get the mulberry and the fig. I'd like to get both of those planted before it gets too hot. But we're going to wait on the other 3 fruit trees that were going to be planted actually right in front of where I am right now. We were going to do another trio, but it sounds like those trees might not be available for a while, so we're going to wait to plant those in the fall. But got a lot going on in here, and we'll continue to have a lot going on, at least for the next month or so. I gotta say, it'll be really nice once things have all been planted and redone in this yard, so that can spend a little time just walking around and talking about what's going on instead of working every time, right? Now that's a thought. You know, it might be fun to do some live streams from other people's yards. Maybe I could start doing some student live streams and go do some yard checkups. That might be kind of fun. Have to see if anybody's interested in that. Ooh-wee. Some of this in here is so splintery. I'm going to have to come in with a different chisel, clean this up. Now I'm going to see if I can get a chunk out of here. Ooh boy, oh, it's already 6:35, isn't it? I guess we can go a little bit longer here. I always say the live stream is going to be an hour, and then ends up going a lot longer than that. Now, I also have a couple of new videos coming out real soon here. I've got a video on the hugelkultur bed that I've been putting together. Got a video that I've been putting together on that blueberry that I just planted. And as a matter of fact, the herb spiral that I just showed you all, I actually recorded the entire process of building that. And I will be making a video out of that as well. So I have at least 3 new videos in the making, and should be releasing those any time now, as long as I don't take entire days building herb spirals like I've been doing. You know, one thing is it is difficult to, you know, work on the yard and to, you know, do things for the channel, you know, garden and teach. You know, it's a lot of stuff, you know. Always trying to find a balance between all of these things. Miriam asks, how deep are you going? You know, I'm going to go at least a few more inches. I'm thinking maybe another 2 to 3 inches or so. I just want to carve this out a little bit more so I can get some root space in here. And then I'm just going to drill some holes all the way straight through to the bottom for drainage. And Miriam, you know, we could plant strawberries in here. This actually would not be bad for strawberries. I was thinking either strawberries, flowers, or some kind of herbs. In fact, I might even plant something like mint in here. Well, maybe not mint. I do need a spot to plant some mint, though, because I just got some cool new mint varieties that I need to plant up. They're either going to go into a pot or a planter like this. Definitely not putting them in the ground. That's a rule, you know, never plant mint in the ground. It will become your garden. Of course, I don't take my own advice. Go and take a look at the garden at the Conservation Corps. I planted mint in the ground there. I said it was for a lesson. Yeah, you know, I was going to say I regret it, but actually I don't regret it. Every Corps member that goes into that garden gets to see how the mint has taken over, and then hopefully they remember and don't make that mistake when they plant up their own garden. That's what I should have, a garden of mistakes. Oh wait, that's just my garden. Yes, that is right, Vicky. I have taken too much onto my plate, and I don't know why. I'm always finding more stuff to add to the plate, but it just kind of happens. It's kind of like this. I could do this the fast way, but it's just another project I added to my plate. I guess that's just how I choose to live my life. Can't blame anyone but myself. Oh, that would be great, Vicky. I would love to tour your new landscape, and in fact, it would be fun to either record a video and edit it together, or to do a live stream. I would be happy to do either. That would be a lot of fun. We have to get together and talk about that sometime soon. Alrighty, everybody. Now, I think it is 6:40 right now. We're going to go for about 5 more minutes. I think that 6:45 is going to be time for me to call it quits and go put some food in my belly. Like I said, I'm getting hungry. But I want to get a little bit more done here. So one thing, whenever I get started on this log, I don't like stepping away from it. I kind of get into a groove, and I just want to keep going. I really do like working on this log. As silly as it might seem, it's actually quite enjoyable. Gives me a chance to kind of turn my brain off just a little bit, kind of go into a little bit of an artistic flow. Not that I'm an artist, but yeah, I agree, Miriam. That would be fun to do as a live stream. We'll have to talk about that. See what day we want to do that. That'd be fun. That is, of course, if Vicky would be happy to do it as a live stream. And yes, Vicky, I agree 100%. This is my therapy. Working on this log is a lot cheaper than a therapist. I wonder if Dennis is here. Always got to make therapy jokes with my student Dennis. Sandy says, yeah, Vicky, that would be a great way for all of us to see your landscape on a live stream. Yeah. Everybody's volunteering you, Vicky. Ooh. Oop, okay. Too far. There we go. Gonna end up breaking my chisel one of these days. I gotta be careful with it. Gotta be honest, I kind of abused this poor chisel. It's well made. There we go. It's a Beavercraft chisel. In fact, boy howdy, I have not sharpened this thing once. It's still got quite a sharp edge on it. This is the only chisel I've used on this whole project so far. Oh, that's great, Vicky. we'll definitely talk about figuring out when we could do a live stream over there. I'll be very excited to see it. I know you've shown me so many pictures of it. And we've talked about it a lot. Let's see. Got to get a better angle here. Keep leaning back and... let's see. This corner definitely needs to be chiseled out more. Got to be careful when I chisel into a corner like this. I don't want to start to open up a seam and then have it crack into the end here. So gotta be careful. Chisel it out like that. Woo! There's the parrots. I don't know if you can hear them, but they are loud on my end. There we go. Alrighty, everybody. Well, it is just about 6:45 here, so I'm going to knock out this last little piece. And I'm going to go get myself some dinner. I do want to thank you all for joining me on the live stream. I hope that you had a good time. I apologize for those connection issues again. Got to figure out how to do this the right way. Get that figured out. But hopefully next week things will run a little bit smoother. Hopefully I'll see some of you back next week. Let's see. One last little chunk. Oh, it's almost out. I think I just have to hit this. And voila, it's out. Alrighty, everybody. Well, that's going to be it for tonight. Again, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Please take good care of yourselves, and I will see you all in class sometime this week. Stay safe out there. You're very welcome, Sandy. Bye, Vicky. Bye, Miriam. See you later. Get one more shot of that beautiful sky. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Stay safe, everybody.